I wasn't supposed to be on that road, but something pulled me off my usual route that night. A quiet voice in my head, or maybe just a feeling, like my hands turned the wheel before I even thought about it. It led me to a narrow dirt path I'd never noticed before. No signs, no lights, just trees pressing in from both sides and a strange kind of stillness, like the world was holding its breath. That's when I saw it. A shimmer in the air, like a curtain of liquid glass floating a few feet off the ground. It rippled, even though there was no wind. At first, I thought it was a trick of the headlights, but when I stepped out to look closer, the temperature dropped, and the silence became deafening. Then, something moved on the other side, something I can't explain, something I wish I hadn't seen. I'm a long-haul truck driver, 46 years old. Been doing this job for over 2 decades. I've driven across nearly every inch of the U.S., from crowded city highways to remote desert roads where you don't see another soul for hours. I've seen weird things, but nothing ever stuck with me like what happened that night in northern Oregon. It was late October, cold, dry air, leaves already turning crisp and gold. I had just finished a delivery in Eugene and was heading toward Pendleton. Normally I'd stick to Route 126, but for some reason, I veered off. No GPS reroute, no roadblock. Just a gut pull, like something was waiting down that path. I remember checking the clock. 11:23 p.m. The road I turned onto didn't show up on my map. Just a narrow dirt trail snaking through tall pine trees. It felt off. Not dangerous, just too quiet. Even the engine hum sounded muted. I slowed down, rolled the windows halfway. No wind, no bugs, no sound at all. Like I had driven out of the world I knew. I don't scare easy. But my skin started to prickle. Something deep in me whispered, "Turn back." But I didn't. I kept going, and then I saw that shimmer, floating maybe 30 feet ahead, right in the middle of the path, like heat rising off pavement, except it was icy cold and it wasn't reflecting anything. I hit the brakes, left the engine running, got out to take a closer look, and from that moment on, everything changed. As I stepped closer, I felt the air change. It wasn't just cold anymore. It was heavy. Like walking through water. My breath came out in slow clouds, but the mist didn't drift. It just hung there. The shimmer stood about 8 feet tall, maybe 5 wide, perfectly vertical, not touching the ground, just floating slightly above it. I moved around it slowly, trying to find an angle where it would disappear, like a trick of the light. But it didn't. It held its shape. Its ripples moved independently of the wind, if there had been any wind at all. I reached out my hand. I know what you're thinking. Why the hell would I touch it? But I wasn't thinking straight. Something about it felt magnetic. Not like it was pulling me in, but like I was already part of it. The second my fingers broke the surface, everything shifted. There was no pain, no sound, just a snap, like being unplugged from the world for half a second, and then dropped back into something else. I wasn't standing on the dirt path anymore. I was in a hallway, long, narrow, industrial, dim lights flickering above, buzzing faintly. The air smelled sterile, like a hospital mixed with engine oil. Behind me, nothing. Just a blank wall, no shimmer, no exit. My boots echoed against the concrete floor. Everything felt too clean, too empty. I walked slowly, calling out, "Hello?" My voice bounced back at me in a way that didn't feel quite natural. Then I noticed the walls. They weren't straight. They tilted slightly inward, like the hallway was narrowing even if it looked level. And every 20 feet or so there was a door, but the doors had no handles, No signs, just flat panels with small red lights above them. I tried one, no response. Then another, same. But the third door clicked. It didn't swing open. It slid noiselessly into the wall. Inside was a room, white, bright, empty, except for a chair, and someone sitting in it, or something. Its back was to me. The shape was human, but wrong. Shoulders too narrow, head slightly too large. It didn't move, didn't react. I took one step into the room, and the lights above flickered violently. Then the thing in the chair turned its head. Not all the way, just enough that I could see one side of its face, and I swear to you, it was my face, but older, paler, lifeless. It looked at me like it knew I'd be there, like it had been waiting. I backed away slowly, my hands trembling. The light behind me dimmed and the hallway buzzed louder. I ran. I don't remember how far or how long, just a blur of metallic walls and echoing footsteps. Every door I passed was now open, and every room had a chair, and every chair had a version of me sitting in it. Some older, some younger, some broken, some smiling in the most unsettling ways I've ever seen. None of them moved, but they all watched me. I finally reached a wall, solid, featureless. No doors, no shimmer. I pressed my hands against it and screamed. And then, just like that, I was back, standing in the middle of the dirt path. The shimmer was gone. My truck engine was still running, my headlights still on. But my watch? It was 3 hours ahead. I stood there, frozen. Same road, same trees, same truck humming quietly, like nothing had happened. But everything felt off. The air was warmer. The night sky had shifted. Orion was higher than before, the moon slightly more full. My dashboard clock said 2:41 a.m. I had lost over 3 hours. But to me, it had only been minutes. I got in the truck, shut the door, and just sat there, staring at my hands. They were shaking. My palms were damp. I looked at myself in the mirror, and for a split second, I thought I saw his face, the one in the chair. I drove. Not fast, just steady, like I was afraid the road might change again. When I reached the highway, I pulled over and checked my GPS history. That dirt path? It didn't exist. No logging roads in that stretch, no private property, nothing. And the strangest part? When I looked back at the dash cam footage, there was no shimmer, no hallway, no detour, just 3 hours of blank static. For weeks after, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that hallway, those chairs, those faces, versions of me that never spoke, but somehow knew everything I was too afraid to admit. I stopped taking night routes after that, stopped ignoring my instincts, because now, every time I feel something pulling me, a road I don't remember, a turn I didn't mean to make, I wonder if it's happening again. If I'll find myself somewhere I don't belong. And next time, I might not come back. Sometimes I wonder, what if that version of me, the one sitting in the chair, wasn't just watching? What if it was waiting for me to trade places, to give in, to stop running from who I could have been, or who I was always meant to become? I've tried to explain it to people, a few close friends, my brother once, but they just smile politely and change the subject. Maybe I would have done the same before. But now, I see the world differently. Sometimes I'll catch a reflection that lingers too long, or hear my name whispered in a quiet room. Little things, small tears in the fabric. And I think, maybe that portal didn't take me somewhere else. Maybe it just peeled something back. showed me a version of the truth that's always been right beneath the surface. Most people never see it. But once you do, you can't unsee it. And you can never quite go back to the world you thought was real.